Hello, everyone, and welcome to Entertainment Expansion. We are your hosts, Tyler Callahan and Mike Ferrante. Mike, how you doing?
Well, Tyler, I'm chilling, and as of we are recording this podcast, may the fourth be with you.
And may the fourth be with you. So, what are we talking
So,
about?
rather fitting, I think we talk about a Star Wars property today. So,
Last
obviously,
Jedi,
the
Last
end.
Jedi.
That'll be the last podcast you and me ever fucking host together, pal. But anyway, so we're talking about the season 3 of The Mandalorian, the show that brought the love back to the fandom in mainstream media. Does it compare well with the other two seasons? Is it worth a watch? I guess we'll find out by the end of this episode, won't we?
Yeah, I think we will. I think it kind of goes without saying, but hey, I'll say it anyway. Because we're talking about the whole season. There'll be open spoilers for the entire season. Uh,
What?
yeah, I know, shocking.
But
And
we never spoil anything.
and shockingly, because this is season three, we'll also mention spoilers of the other two seasons if we need to make a point. But I guess since you did the intro, if you don't mind, I'll start.
You know what, Tyler? I think I might have a better idea. Why don't you just start?
Okay. So this show has caused me to cancel my subscription to Disney Plus.
Oh boy,
I'm
that
kidding. I'm
escalated quickly.
kidding. Kidding. It's not. Well, look, if there was any show that was going to do that, it was Boba Fett, and I stayed. So, but should not be overstated. I have pretty mixed feelings about this season. Weirdly, I was not that hyped coming into the third season, and I think that was the right choice. I don't know about you, but when I watched the trailers for Mandalorian season three, it did not get me excited at all. I don't know why. There's nothing there that like, wow, this is just wrong. It's like they showed action, so they showed Grogu, they showed Bo-Katan. It's like I kind of just don't care.
So you're basically saying the show is feeling tired a
It's
little bit.
feeling a little tired. It's feeling a little tired. I think my main issue is if I'm a general audience person, right? I'm not a big fan of Star Wars. I don't mind it. I'm browsing through Disney Plus, and
Okay, you're
I'm
browsing.
binge watching Mandalorian. It's a good show. I go from two to three right off the bat because I'm binge watching, right? They kind of fucked up the pacing of the show with having the end of Boba Fett being Mandalorian 2.5.
Yeah,
Like, the more I think about season three, I have a lot of issues with how we're already kicking off season three. Grogu, Din Djarin, they're already back together. They're doing stuff. And it's like, if you're binge watching this, end of season two, heartfelt moments right at the end, right? They go their separate ways. Din Djarin's job is done. And you go right into the next episode and they're back together. Oh, what? You didn't watch the Boba Fett sideshow? Like with Luke and Boba and like Ahsoka shows up. Like I understand it's a mini connected universe, but like wow, them
you're
doing
making
that,
relatively large changes in a different show.
that's an entire season. Like
Yeah,
like they could have had season three could have been Din Djarin finding his way as a Mandalorian, which what part of the season was, and the B story. You can occasionally flip to Grogu training with Luke, and maybe at the end of the season, he's got to go back. It's not working out as a Jedi. We get one episode of that in Boba Fett.
yeah, that actually could have made more sense if Book of Boba Fett was going on alongside season 3 of Mandalorian, and then they had their crossover event essentially, kind of
Like the
like what
pacing is
CW.
gone. That like, and
Yeah,
then I sent you this tweet when season three first started. It's like, oh, John Favreau saying like, yeah, so season one and two of Mandalorian kind of takes place over 2 years. Like, what?
yeah.
They don't establish this timeline.
No, they do not. I don't think you're all that wrong. Gonna be honest with you. The pacing definitely felt odd in this season. It felt a little disjointed.
Mhm.
I think they had a lot of the right elements, story beats, but I feel like it was a tad bit rushed to what they were trying to do. Whereas season 1 and 2, they kind of took their time telling their story and getting to their destination. It just seemed like a rushed process to rebuild Mandalore, right? Because that's what the season was
Yeah,
all about.
which I think you're right. I think if the overarching goal is take back Mandalore, regroup the Mandalorians as a season goal, that works. It's the execution was pretty poor.
Yeah. Obviously, there was no bad acting in the show. Everything kind of stayed the same with that because everyone's under helmets. So they could be acting bad. You just don't
Hey,
know.
hey, hey, hey. Jack Black was not in helmet.
Fair, fair. But that was a very divisive episode. A lot of fans were not a fan of that episode.
Yeah, they're
Just
probably the same
saying.
people that didn't like Last Jedi either, but whatever. Okay, okay, all right. I'm gonna say something about cameos in Star Wars, and we're just gonna move on. Okay?
Yeah, it's a thing. Like, just let it rock.
No, no. I am more than fine. Now, I think it's a bit weird to have three cameos in one episode, but for anyone bitching about that episode, excuse me, we're over halfway into a season that's been subpar already. I don't know why this like fucking CSI episode where Din Djarin, Bo-Katan are trying to solve a murder mystery. It's like, really? The cameos here is what sets you off. I'd rather have if there's going to be a celebrity cameo because they love Star Wars, I would much rather have this than like a Daniel Craig in a stormtrooper outfit that says one line in Force Awakens. Like, no, that doesn't count as a cameo. Like, if they want to be in Star Wars and have a cameo, give them a proper one like this. Now,
True.
was it my favorite episode of the series of the season? Absolutely not. But like you said, I saw a lot of hate for this episode. It's like, we've been kind of seeing this subpar stuff all season. I don't know why this set everyone off. Maybe because Lizzo is in it. I don't know. Just I saw it and I thought, wow, we are arguing about the wrong stuff for the season.
Absolutely. I could not agree more.
We saw Super Battle Dwarfs, and like people are like, I hate this episode. Like, I don't know, I thought that was cool, but all right.
Yeah. uh, Again, I did too, because you're seeing stuff from the prequel trilogy, and
Hmm?
to be fair, we haven't really seen much of that
No, we haven't.
in the Mandalorian. Only in flashback scenes that Grogu remembers the temple, and you see the clones and things like that.
Because we keep having flashbacks. All right, I will give this season props that we finally saw the finished picture of him leaving the Jedi Temple. But I
Yeah.
swear, if season 4 has another flashback to Order 66 via Grogu, it's like, come on.
Hey, listen, I will watch any flashbacks for Order 66. A lot happened in that event, and we saw the tip of the iceberg, my friend. The tip of the iceberg. You're telling me, we're going to go on a side note here. You're telling me you didn't love the opening of the Obi-Wan show, where it just opens up, slaughtering of younglings. That gets you right in the mood. You're like, yep, okay, I'm in for it. This is Star Wars. This is where the fun begins, Tyler.
Jesus, this is where the fun begins. Murdering younglings. I wouldn't say that exactly. It's just, look, if you're gonna have Order 66 happen, I'm sick of the Jedi Temple. That's the thing. I'm sick of the Jedi Temple. Like, if you're gonna show Order 66, like Ahsoka in the last season of Clone Wars, where she's on a ship, that's different. But you just brought up my point. Kenobi and Mandalorian have brought up multiple Order 66 scenes, all on a Jedi Temple. It's getting a little silly now. I'm just like, why is there not a Jedi walking down the street of Coruscant and he just gets blasted to death? Like, no drive by. Like, it's always at the Jedi Temple.
Because that might be comical. Let's be honest here.
So what? So what? You're right. Order 66 is a massive event in Star Wars.
This is true.
So you're telling me there's not a couple Jedi just walking down the street, they just get fucking murdered in cold blood, right? If they weren't off on different planets during the Clone Wars. Like, come on.
It was a Jedi's day off at the cantina, just gets fucking shot up.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that'd be cool to see.
Yeah, but this isn't a Godfather film, Tyler.
Yeah, you're right. There'd be less children dying. Exactly. But
Yeah,
we're getting on
yeah.
another tangent. Okay. I guess before we go on to positives, besides pacing, what did you have any issues with the show besides pacing?
Not really too much. I mean, because it kind of all goes back to the pacing that it makes you not feel as excited or interested in what happens next.
Hmm.
Because I felt like they did a decent job with the reasonings why Bo Katan's crew kind of separated from her. They kind of explained that well.
If we're going character arc, the only one I had an issue with was the armorer. Like,
With the helmet.
Yeah, it's like for 2 seasons, it's been ingrained in our head from her, in her eyes. If you take it off, you're dead to her, unless you go to the planet and take splash in the water and all that. And that's a big thing for this first half of the season, right? I mean, first 2 episodes, and Mando's got to go there. He's got to be
Yeah.
redeemed. And then Bo-Katan shows up. And it's like, I mean, for you, you walk both paths, so it's okay. Like, let's.
Yeah, maybe because she grew up walking both paths.
Yeah, but wasn't the whole argument was that
Yeah,
the armor believes they are the true Mandalorians. That
yeah.
follow the creed. Bo-Katan's group is like, you're fucking crazy, and you're the reason that we lost the planet, so you're not Mandalorian. And then it's like, she compromised out of nowhere. I felt like,
To be fair, they're about to have Mandalore,
yeah,
and all else fails, they have Mandalore in the springs. So it's like, oh,
but
hey, since you took your arm off, you want to just take a dip in here real quick?
but they even honed in on how stupid their creed is when they're gonna go save the kid, and they each get something to eat for dinner, and they all go separate ways so they can take off the helmet.
Yeah.
Like, you guys know this is stupid. I don't know. It's like they scratched the surface of that idea, because I really felt like Din Djarin shouldn't have gone into the waters. I think he should have been the one to walk both ways, right? Like, because I
Yeah.
mean, one of my issues with the show this season is he's a fucking side character in his own show.
He's been Boba Fetted.
He's been Boba Fett. His main job is keeping an eye on Grogu. That's it.
Yeah, to be fair, the armor's whole thing was you will bring all the Mandalorians together. Isn't that what Din Djarin just did in this fucking season, lady?
Yeah, exactly. He's the one that goes to Bo-Katan, right? He's the one that works with her to get the other
And
Mandalorians back. He gives up the dark saber to allow her to do so
yes, on a technicality.
on a technicality. But look, don't even get me started on their group being like, well, whoever wields a dark saber will take orders from, no questions asked. Like, all right, again, this is Elder Wand Harry Potter bullshit. But all right, sure.
Yeah, but to be fair, it's the entire it's the entire thing.
I know. And look, they have a Starship Cruiser. They obviously want those resources. I get it. I just feel like if she was going to compromise, that should have been better shown. Why did she compromise? Was it because, oh, we could have the Great Forge back?
True.
Because they make it a big deal in season 2, right? Mando loses the duel. He's exiled from the cult. That would have been a perfect excuse to, on his own path, his own journey, decide to walk both ways and prove to their armor that he can take his helmet off and everything's okay. But no, he immediately goes to the bath, takes a bath, almost dies doing it, and it's right back into the cult. I feel like his character has regressed a little bit.
Yeah, but to be fair, something positive did come out of it.
Which is,
Din Grogu.
I do like the sound of that name, yeah, Din Grogu. That is a positive thing. I will say, if we're going to start talking about positives and not just shit on the show, Grogu got character development.
He did.
Din Grogu officially, what is he? Is he a Mandalorian trainee now? Apprentice? He's an apprentice.
As an apprentice.
Yeah. I love Mandalorian just speeds up that paperwork, right? She just asks, you're going to take the child? It's like, yeah, sure, I'm the father now.
It's like, yep, you know it. I'm
And I do like how Grogu is getting better with his force powers.
Yes, he's getting pretty strong at it, and it's not tuckering him out as much as it did before.
Exactly. So he definitely got more character development than Djarin. But hey, look, they're now officially father son. Everyone's happy. They have a nice piece of land. Kind of a shame he couldn't keep the robot outfit, but I thought that was funny.
This is true.
I don't know. There were good pieces here, but the pieces all don't mix well together. I think that's where we're getting at.
Yeah,
also, I mean,
it felt disjointed.
like, even special effects wise, it looks great. Like, they did a lot of dogfights in the air. That looked great. Most of the combat hand to hand was pretty good. Like, if you're not watching this for the plot, just visually, it's pretty good. It's just the writing, I don't know where it went.
Yeah.
And like again, like you said, the acting's good. So I don't know who was writing the scripts this season, but again, I think that really goes back to like if they didn't have the Boba Fett issue and they rewrote the scripts around that being part of this season, I think it'd be a lot stronger. I
Yeah,
don't
you're
know.
not wrong. Definitely not wrong.
Was there anything else you liked about the show?
Well, we did see certain character development actually. So obviously we had what's his name? I'm forgetting the big guy's name
The big
now.
guy that had an issue with Din Djarin from season 1.
Yeah, basically the entire series, he was kind of the boulder in the path of Din Djarin and
Mm-hmm.
Din Grogu. He finally comes around. All it took was just having to save his son for him to be like, no, this guy's actually okay. You know what? And they did a dickhead move switch out. I kind of like that, where he stood up and he thought he was going to once again be a dickhead. He's like, nope, why should we fucking help these guys? He does give that speech. He's like, but they saved my son, so we need to help them.
It was a good speech. I liked the twist.
It was, they
Because you
had
could
me in the
easily see
first half.
the
I'm not
conflict
going
be
to lie.
half the episode, them arguing, and some go with them. It's like, yeah, no, we all got to help them. We're going to do it, and you're going to do it. So let's go.
Yeah. The
Well,
final
I
battle was
think
in.
Bo-Katan got some character development as well.
She definitely did.
Yeah, I mean, she had to compromise as well. Again, she thought the cult was fucking crazy and all that, but for the better of Mandalore, she's willing to work with the armor, bring everyone together, and now they have the planet back.
And to be fair, she also saw that yes, this cult may be a little bit extreme,
Mm-hmm.
but when it's all said and done, that cult has been together the entire time. They're true sticking to the Mandalorian ways and having each other's backs no matter what. So I think she was like, actually, this isn't that bad.
Yeah,
So
like they're good people.
she was getting ready to fucking join the cult
Mm-hmm.
and not remove her helmet until the armor was like, hey, by the way, you could also do this if you want to.
It's like such a cop out.
Yeah. And then Mano's in the corner, bitch, really? You made me almost get fucking drowned over here, and you're just gonna whatever.
I think too. You think the guy with the dark saber would get some special privileges? Nah,
Nope.
they don't even recognize him with the dark saber. It's like whatever.
It's like, yeah, it's just a lightsaber. You may be the leader of Mandalore, but you're not a Mandalorian. You took that helmet off, pal. There's no coming back from that.
Dark saber, R.I.P.
Yeah, that's interesting. They make that a huge deal, and then oh, hey, it's broken.
But I like that. That's a plot point I think that works
Yeah,
because like Bo-Katan's group, they're still hung up on dark saber. Well, dark saber's gone. So are you just not going to do anything, or are you actually going to work together? And they're working together now. I guess thinking about the future of the show because they haven't fully confirmed it, but they're basically talking as if there will be a 4th season. I'm happy where, unlike how Boba Fett kind of screwed things up, they did reset enough to where season 4 can be like season 1 and 2, right?
yeah. The
Then,
Adventures of the Dins.
yeah, basically the adventure of the Dins, going around,
Or
bounty hunting, doing jobs possibly for the New Republic. I did like how they showed how incompetent the New Republic is.
oh yeah,
Does it matter for this show? No. But if you're a binge watcher and you watch the sequel trilogy at some point after Mandalorian, they will have better context as to why the
everything fell
first,
apart. So
yeah,
fast.
basically how the First Order came out of nowhere and the New Republic just kind of blows up on those planets. Like, oh, they blew up the capitals. Like, we're wondering how you had 30 years. Well, the Mandalorian shows the best people aren't running the place.
Correct. And technically, the infrastructure for the First Order was within the New Republic from pretty early on.
Yeah, yeah. As much as we are not the biggest fans of the sequel trilogy, I do like how all this new content, be it the Jedi Survivor games, the Mandalorian shows, they're dropping nuggets here and there of here's how things got there.
Correct.
I mean, even Battlefront 2 had a whole campaign. I don't know if it's canon, but like the campaign of like Palpatine's operation for when he does die. Here's what actually happens. It's like, Jesus, this guy's like 20 steps ahead.
Correct. No, I think it definitely does. They're piecing together the gaps in the franchise, which I think is nice.
Mm-hmm.
I know Liam Neeson doesn't agree. He says it takes the mystery out of the things that went on in Star Wars. But I, instead of calling it mystery, I call it history. You're putting
Bro,
history into Star Wars.
bro, he's in the movie that introduced metachlorians. The mystery is gone. Just
Yeah,
like it's not like, oh well, anyone could be a Jedi and we don't know how strong it could be. No, midichlorian counts a pretty strong indicator. It's like, all right, mystery's solved.
indeed.
It's like, I mean, I get where he's coming from, right? Before, 10 years ago, there was just these 6 movies and that's it, and everything else is to your imagination. But come on, that's if he wants to criticize it, he's criticizing it for trying to be like Marvel.
Yeah, kind of. But Star Wars is it's near and dear to all our hearts.
I wonder if he's grumpy because he got killed off early. Like his only appearances now can be Force ghosts.
Well, he's been doing that for a while, considering he was a voice actor that returned to the Clone Wars show. So he's been getting work from it still.
It lacks mystery, but he won't lack that paycheck.
Correct. Lacks history, but it was okay with the Clone Wars show.
And Kenobi.
But doesn't think there should be anything else.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. So, got to wrap this up. Mike, Mandalorian Season 3. What do you think? Recommend, not recommend? What?
Listen, at the end of the day, you're a fan of the show. There was a lot to love in the show. Did they do it ideally? No. But there's still things you're not going to want to miss because you did bring up it kind of gives the future a little bit of a soft reset and things back to the way it should be, as well as setting up other properties nicely that we could be seeing coming from the future. So yes, I would say give it a watch.
I'm gonna have to agree with you. Again, I would prefer, for the most part, to say no. Like, just go to YouTube and watch the fight scenes. But you're right. Like, while it's not done well, there is a lot here that partially does wrap up the past 2 seasons of storylines with some people,
Yes.
like Moff Gideon. But
For now,
yeah, for now. But again, it is enough of a reset and enough things change to where you can't go from 2 to 4. You're going to be completely confused as where's Darksaber? Why is he called Din Grogu now? Like, and look, it's only 8 episodes, right? These aren't long seasons, so I'd say it's worth a watch. You'll get some enjoyment out of it, just not as much as the first 2 seasons.
I agree. Clearly. Side note though, before we fully wrap this up, that's going to get really old really fast in the new season if they keep calling him Din Grogu instead of just Grogu. I'm just foreshadowing that.
I don't think that. I mean, I think the only people that will do that are the Mandalorians.
Yeah,
Like, if they meet anyone new, they're not gonna. I think they'll just introduce them as Grogu.
yeah. Well, I am Din Djarin. This is Din Grogu, because technically he goes by Din Djarin or the Mandalorian.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. He really doesn't give out his name.
No, not too much.
No,
But when it's said, they don't call him Djarin.
no,
They
but
call him Din Djarin.
yeah, but also his friends that aren't Mandalorian, they just call him Mando.
Very true. But anyway, these are just our thoughts about season 3 of The Mandalorian. We want to know, what are your thoughts? Did you like the season? Did you not? As always, feel free to tell us why at Entertainment Expansion. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. As always, thank you for listening, and may the fourth be with you.